Head coach of the Auburn Tigers, Nick Clinard. Coach, I feel like it was about a couple of weeks ago, the last time we talked to you. You were preparing for regionals. First off, how did you feel that your team handled this entire run up until the national championship?
War Eagle, and thanks for having me on. We played well at SECs. We won the stroke play by 6 shots. We shot an SEC championship record at 39 under par, and I knew we were playing really good golf. And then we had about a 3 week layover or layoff basically until we played regionals. And I thought we were very rusty at regionals, having not competed in 3 weeks. And we got off to a slow start there. Didn't play our greatest. We faced some adversity there. With 9 holes to go, we were basically not going to qualify for the national championship, and our guys made one bogey the last nine, made 10 birdies, and we ended up finishing third and only lost by 6 for regionals. And then the guys were very motivated, quick turnaround, getting ready for the NCAA championship. And 4 days later, we're in Carlsbad and preparing for that, and we played great. We played great right from the get-go. Our first round was key because it was windy. It was in the afternoon, and we played well there, and we won the stroke play by 3, and then pretty much kind of, beat everybody pretty good stroke play outside of Texas. And then just kind of continued our really good golf and match play, and we were lucky enough to come out on top.
How much do you think that SEC championship kind of prepared you guys for this run? You talked a little bit about the adversity, obviously going up against Ole Miss, who ended up winning the SEC championship. Just how much do you think that helped you guys prepare?
I think two things. I think one, the stroke play portion, we got really close there on the back nine. We really challenge our guys to win stroke play. It's something that's really, really important to us because match play is a different animal. But we got close with Florida. They were playing really, really well, and they got within like maybe tied or one shot. We were able to, close pretty strong, come out on top in stroke play there. Then, we ran into an Ole Miss team that's very, very good, and they were really we got out putted, we got outplayed, as simple as that, in the semifinals, and got beat. And I think it really motivated our guys. It kind of woke them up that, hey, match play is different. Like, you got to bring it every day. You better be prepared for your opponent to play well. And when they went into match play, the NCAA championships, they were just basically like, hey, we're not losing. So you're just each of you figure out, just find a way. Just find a way to get done.
You talked a little bit about that back nine in the regional, and that heading into the back nine, you guys almost didn't even qualify for the national championship. Just did you see a sort of a shift in your guys once you hit that back nine in the final round?
I just saw them like kind of, almost like they just stepped up. They just all of a sudden they were encouraging each other's and backups. They were clapping for each other when somebody made a putt. They were putter raising. They were kind of fist bumping each other, from far away. Just more of like, hey, it's time for us to play golf and turn it on. It's kind of like, as a coach, you're like, what took us so long? While we wait until the 46th hole to do this. But I just think that's what champions do, and that's what great teams do. When their back's against the wall, they're able to find something in their inner self and perform at a high level, and they did that.
We'll get into Jackson in a minute because, he just keeps on racking up all the accolades. We talked about Jake Albert throughout this entire season, but someone I do want to focus on is Josiah, because he seemed to kind of fly under the radar throughout this entire season. Just how did you see him start to develop into this golfer that we saw him in the back half of the year? Because I feel like he was one of those key guys for you down the stretch.
No, you're right. He's one of the most talented kids I've ever coached. He's just always been kind of raw and still learning the game and still learning how to practice and the nuances of the game. And he won twice this year. He won twice in the fall. Just a little bit inconsistent with his game. He's swinging the club very well. His dad's a swing coach, and I thought they were working on some really, really good stuff. Once March came, I was really, really happy with what they were working on. And come April, he just played fantastic. He played great at Vanderbilt's tournament and the forward leading up to SECs. He played some wonderful golf there. Regionals, he played fantastic and finished, I think, fourth. And then, onward to the NCAA championship, he finished third. He's had a lot of confidence. He was driving the golf ball better. He's worked really, really hard on his putting to improve that, and he's on a good trend right now as far as what he's working on and where he's headed.
Coach, we'll talk about Jackson now, because I thought you said something funny about one more year. First off, have you heard anything? Has he made a decision yet or not yet?
We've had lengthy talks, our whole staff, myself, with him and his family. His decision will be coming soon, and we've voiced our opinion on what's best. It's all about what's best for him. and what's best for his family. And he will make the right decision. I promise that.
Just how much does he mean to you personally? Take away all of the golf and how good he is, because I know some metrics have him as a top 10 golfer in the world right now, but just as a person to you, just how much does he mean to you?
I just love him to death. I love him like he's my son. I love his family. He's a dear friend, and somebody that I'll be great friends with for the rest of his life and be his biggest cheerleader.
So from my understanding, he was dealing with a bit of an illness throughout, I think it was the regional round. Just how impressed were you with the ability that he had to just kind of fight through it? Because obviously he didn't have his best stuff, but he was still able to help you guys into a position to be able to compete for the national title.
Yeah, he wasn't feeling well. Day of the practice round, even that evening we met, like he sounded terrible. And the first round was probably his worst, where it was so hot and humid too, which made it worse.
Yeah.
But he didn't want to eat because he didn't feel well. But he's just tough as nails. I mean, the guy has no quit in him. He's got a huge heart, and he's going to do everything in his power to help the team. The team was his main focus. I mean, all the personal stuff. That's what I admire so much about him. The personal stuff comes along with it, and trust me, he enjoys that. But the team is first and foremost. He wants to help the team. He wants to help Auburn, win championships, and that's just how he's wired, and that's how he was raised. And I'm very grateful for that, because especially in 2026, when all we read about is personal agendas.
Yeah. Coach, this is your second national title in the last 3 seasons. How does this team compare to the team that got you over the hump, and in which ways are they better, or are they kind of mostly the same?
Well, I think all teams are different. Every year is a different year. You got different makeups to the team. 2024, we had a much older squad, much more seniors, much more vocal leadership. This team was a little more quiet, a little more leadership by actions, versus words. I mean, they obviously had a lot of player meetings and things of that nature. But I'll say that there's something that's been the same is just the connectivity. The connectivity with our guys in that locker room, the connectivity off the golf course, the camaraderie, the team spirit, the team unity, whatever you want to call it. It's been really special. And it's something that we work hard on as coaches. We preach culture, because I think culture drives expectations and beliefs, and drives behaviors, and it drives habits, and ultimately habits create your destiny or future. And, we work really hard on that culture. But I applaud the guys for really driving that culture each and every day. And I think that's something that's I'm very proud of. And I think that's something that's really helped us as a team.
When did you first realize that this team would be national champions?
Oh, gosh, I don't know. You go into the season. I mean, I knew that we were good. I knew we were going to be young. We have no seniors.
Yeah.
I was more worried about maturity, just part of that maturation process, not only as players, but off the golf course too. And we had some pretty highly recruited freshmen coming in, but you never know how, how they're going to adjust to the college game and being away from home and the travel, et cetera. And I knew that in the spring, we went to Hawaii and shot a tournament record and won by like 13 shots. And we shot an NCAA record, I think, in Division I. I knew that, okay, wow, we got a lot of firepower. And we were coming off winning our first tournament of the year in the fall season at the end of the fall at Southern Hills. And we just played some really good golf. And I thought the confidence in each other and the confidence in themselves, it just kept going and going and going. I don't know if I ever felt like we were like, okay, well, we're definitely going to walk in and win the national championship. I've never felt that way. There's too good players and good programs. But I do know that if we took care of our business and we were the best version of ourselves, that we would most likely have a chance if the ball bounced our way.
I do want to go back to Jackson here for a second, because I want to get the insight on what it's like, being Jackson, getting ready for the U.S. Open. Do you spend time with him preparing for that, or is it more so he goes to his swing coach and does more of the preparation there?
Throughout the year, I'll spend a lot of time with him on his game and just walking through things. So does Coach Williams. And he spent a ton of time with him too, and talking to him about what he's working on and why and how he's structuring his practice. Right now, he'll be mostly just. I mean, he saw his swing coach in California. He was out there for the whole tournament because he lives in California, up in San Jose. So nice of him to be there. So he'll do most of his prep work kind of on his own. He's got a really good plan. He knows what he's doing. I mean, he works on the same stuff every day. So he's not reinventing the wheel. He'll probably get with his short game coach a little bit. and work on pitching and chipping, because that's one area that he continues to need to develop, especially for the PGA Tour. He needs to be able to pitch it a little higher in the air. He needs to get the ball speed to come off the face a little slower, not so fast. So there's some areas that he still needs to improve, especially if he wants to contend in majors.
Coach, I want to get the insight on what the offseason looks like for you now, because this is the second time that you've gone into the offseason being a national champion. I know you talked a little bit how you got junior camps later, but you did go to Vegas over the weekend and saw an electric Game 3. Kind of take us through what this offseason kind of looks like for you before things start to ramp back up.
Well, it's extended tickets to the Stanley Cup finals and the playoffs, and I'd be an absolute idiot to say no to that. So first playoff game I've ever been to, and it was electric. I mean, I think ESPN said it was one of the best, playoff games in the history of the NHL, and it was I just never thought it was going to end. I had been there for about 5 hours, but no, I was glad I got an opportunity to do that. I was very blessed to do that, and then junior camp starting today. So we're really, really busy. I've got 15 coaches from other universities coming to work the camp, and so it's going to be a busy week with all that. And then we're hitting the road recruiting. Both my assistants, myself, will be on the road pretty soon. We're already, honestly, the way the sports work now, like you enjoy the championship for a couple of days, and after that, it's on the next year and trying to get ready for August, because in 2 months from now we're going to be, almost back in school and back practicing and back in workouts, and it'll be a whole new team, right? And then because we got freshmen coming in and never been to college, and we're going to go try to win another championship and try to prepare them to do that too.
Obviously, you talked about how you didn't have a single senior on the roster this year, and you went on to win the national championship. You just brought up the fact that there's going to be freshmen that have never played college golf before. How important is it to be able to have that carryover effect into next year, where you have these guys who might be underclassmen, but they've really stepped up in the leadership role to help guide some of these younger guys that are coming in for the first time?
Well, it's like having a big brother. Each freshman will have a big brother on the team, and having great leadership. With our seniors, we got a great senior class coming in. They're very, very talented. Obviously helped us win 2 national championships now. And they'll lead with words. They'll lead with actions. They'll set the standards in that locker room that we'll talk about as a team. They'll set the vision of the program, which we talk about every time we meet. And they'll understand kind of what Auburn golf's all about and what this great university is all about. And it's something that's just kind of handed down, not only through the coaches, but from player to player. And it's something that we're very blessed to have players that buy into what we do on a daily basis.
What was that reception like back on the plains on Friday when you guys got back?
Really cool. I mean, just the Auburn family, the Auburn fans. I mean, we couldn't do it without them. We couldn't do it without our support, our administration, our donors, and just going up there and seeing all the people that are there and having a chance to see so many former players that were back. I mean, how cool is that for them to come back for that, and just lots of hugs, lots of high-fiving, lots of picture taking, lots of autograph signing by our players. And, it's really cool to see all the little kids out there too, and just how inspired. Hopefully we can inspire them to play this great game and work hard and hopefully play college golf one day too.
Coach, real quick before I let you go, I'm currently planning my honeymoon right now. I'm going to Maui in November.
Right.
So I'm trying to play the plantation course, but do you have any other course recommendations since you guys were out there this year?
We didn't go to Maui, but I went to my honeymoon in Maui.
Really?
That was 30 some years ago. So it's been a little while, but I would recommend the plantation course. Kapalua has some great golf courses there, but TV doesn't do it justice either. It is extremely hilly, and you will absolutely love it. And the views are fantastic, but you definitely need to play plantation. But any of the Kapalua courses are great. You'll really enjoy all that. And it's right there if you're staying in that area.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely looking forward to it, Coach.
Fun times. I wish I was headed to Maui.
Yeah, it's kind of stressful.
Junior camp, and I'll go to.
Okay. Here, I got an extra suitcase, so I can just shove you in it. And you can come out and show me the way around. Coach,
that's a good spot.
Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to join me and have a conversation. Congratulations again, and best of luck this summer.
Thank you so much, War Eagle.